Hey guys, thanks for coming to the channel. Today we're reviewing the PX329 from Pixio. It's a gaming monitor, 32 inches, 1440p, a really serious refresh rate. It should be all sorts of fun. The monitor has its quirks, and that's what we're going to go over. We're going to talk about what the monitor has to offer, some things I discovered along the way. I'll have some timestamps below, so if you want to jump past the unboxing and get straight to the technical stuff and see some of the the features on the monitor, I'll have that below. So let's get started. Thanks for watching. Okay, so here's the box that it came in. This is actually an outer shell of the box, so let's get started with an unboxing. Alright, so inside the box we've got maybe a stand piece. Power cable and a DisplayPort cable, and it looks like maybe the VESA mounting bracket, the other part of the power brick. The feet to the stand, I guess. So I guess that's the stand. Yeah, pretty cool. Very they're metal feet. Now I'm gonna put this on the feet for you, but I actually have a VESA mount that I want to put this on. But I'll show you what it looks like on the regular feet, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it replaces my current monitor on the VESA mount. So there it is. Pretty decent bezel size. It's actually a little bit more plastic around the edge than I was expecting, even just from pictures. It's just that edge doesn't look set. Looks like it's just slightly bowed out there. Maybe it's just my eyes, I can't. The other side looks good. So maybe that's just a nothing burger. We'll see. Okay, so for reference, here's me and here's the monitor itself. It's a 32-inch monitor, and it measures across 31.5 inches. Let's flip it around here so you can kind of see what the back looks like. So I like it. It's super minimal, just the logo. There's some ventilation across the top for the heat. And then you have your on and off button. It's kind of the nipple style that LG is really popular for all your menu functions. It looks like to be the only input on the whole monitor. Feels okay. It's a little bit loose. It feels like there's a little bit of dead space around it. Feels like it could break just a smidgen, but I mean, I guess if you're not using this too much, maybe it's fine. I don't know. Only time can actually tell on that one. So this base, it's like a sprayed matte finish. Not quite like an anodized finish. I could tell that the finish on the two legs is actually slightly different from the central piece of the base. Probably come from two different lines, and the mixture of the paint type was slightly different. Okay, so just going to give you guys a little bit of a closer look. So, got your little menu button here. Sounds okay. Pretty tactile, up, down, left, right. It's got like a little bit of a... You see that? Like, it's just a little bit of a dead space there. And then coming over here, you got the different ports. DisplayPort 2 times and HDMI 2 times. We're going to hook this up with DisplayPort, and then an earphone jack. I guess if you have your digital audio going through the DisplayPort or the HDMI, then you can just plug in your headphones if that's the closest thing to you. Just to let you get a little bit of a closer look at this stand, because we're going to take this stand off. So this bracket will come off, and then this VESA adapter plate that comes with it. Now this didn't always come with the Pixio line. I think when this came out earlier last year, they actually didn't put the VESA mount on it, but then people like Wendell from Level 1 Techs was like, hey, you guys should probably have a VESA mount. You know, nobody really likes stands these days. Now I'll give them kudos, like the stand is nice. This is actually one of the sturdiest full metal pieces I've ever seen. Probably aluminum, little tiny rubber feet on the bottom. You can see that there. And some rubber feet there. Just here on this end, you can see it. Do you see that little pop? So, just something to be aware of, that this is possible. Actually, now I'm looking at it, you can see a small divot thing there. I don't know if that could be, it might just be able to be a rim I can push back in. So we'll check it out later. So let's talk about the technical stuff while you marvel at my gaming skills. It's a 1440p resolution at 165 Hz. It's a pretty quick 5 millisecond response time, but actually feels very responsive compared to other monitors that I've used when it comes to input lag. It's good enough for some silver level ELO gaming, if you know what I mean. It's a VA panel, so the colors are not fantastic, but basically accurate. Good viewing angles where there's no noticeable chromatic aberration, and the ghosting is pretty okay. It's not smeary, especially in times where you'd expect to see it, like in a darker scene with grays and black mixing over each other a lot. Brightness, well, it's not HDR rated in any way, so I wouldn't ding it for being somewhat underwhelming in the brightness realm. It's rated at 300 nits, but I'd fair to say it's something more around the range of like 250. Just by looking at it from previous experience, it's pretty dark. Finally, I'm happy to report that this panel suffers from zero backlight bleed. Coming from a dated IPS display prior to this one, I couldn't stand the harsh haloing at the corners and the black tone mismatch whenever I would be trying to color a photo in Adobe Lightroom. Lastly, I'd like to mention something about the sharpness on the monitor. In games or with video or any other kind of media, it looks really good. I'd say with text, maybe in a word editor or something like that, the sharpness of the text might be a little bit off. You can bump up the sharpness inside the menu, and that seemed to fix that issue, but I just wanted to make a mention of it. So inside the menu system, we've got pretty good granularity. There's the display color. There's some gaming setup options, like you can put your fake crosshair in the center if you like to cheat. An FPS counter, which we'll talk about a little bit later. This actually shows the frame rate that the display is showing. You can see on the right there's a bar right now that shows that there's currently 165 frames coming through, and then it shows the hertz at the top for the actual refresh rate that the screen is showing. So the refresh rate is monitor controlled, and the FPS is actually graphics card controlled. I have Freesync on with overdrive set to high. I haven't really seen the worst ghosting in the world for a VA panel, and inside of games like League of Legends, you can see that we can get pretty high frame rates here, but we debunk the myth where some people have thought that you could not have 165 Hertz alongside with FreeSync being enabled. Now, I'm running an NVIDIA graphics card in here, and most people will be very pleasantly surprised to know that this monitor can use the adaptive sync function with G-Sync, so you can have a FreeSync monitor still do G-Sync things without having to be G-Sync. So that's an awesome win on this. But in a few different games that I've tested it where you can have up to 165 Hertz with FreeSync enabled, I have seen that that's been working. So that's a huge plus for this monitor. Alright, so in conclusion, there's a few things I'm a little bit nitpicky on, right? The quality control out of the box was a little bit lackluster. That bulge on the side of the monitor was a little bit concerning. I haven't been able to determine anything that came from that. I checked to see if there's any kind of weird backlight bleed or warping on the edge. I think it's just completely superficial. The brightness of the monitor is a concern. It is something you're going to probably want to use in a darker room. Like right now I have this light on me, and just by looking at the screen I could tell that the glare is just way too much for the monitor to be able to handle. So just having a darker room and indirect lights on the monitor is probably going to be the best way to be able to view this monitor. I think that the response time and the refresh rate are top class, so if you're going to game on this monitor, it's a great choice. 32 inches at 1440p I think is an awesome sweet spot. 4K gaming is just not quite a thing yet if you're looking to actually also enjoy why we game on PC, which is high refresh rate monitors. We have that available to us, so this is in the right area where you could get something like a 1080 Ti or even a slightly older graphics card like a 1660 and drive this thing and play not the most demanding titles, but it will give you really high frame rates so that you can use the FreeSync functionality both with NVIDIA cards and AMD cards. So if you're into that, you know, I think that that's the best place for this right now. I picked this up on Amazon for $285, March 2020. You can't beat it. There's nothing else on the market that can hit all of these features for that kind of a price. So if you're looking for something with a little bit more features like HDR, maybe even a little bit higher frame rate or color accuracy, you're going to want to look away from a monitor like this. If you're looking for something that has super snappy refresh rate with low response time, you're going to want to still probably look at a TN panel. But I think this is a really good middle of the road monitor that can handle high refresh rate but also have really decent response time while not looking like complete garbage on the color end. So thanks for coming and checking out the channel. I always appreciate any kind of subscriptions, likes, any of that kind of stuff. You can obviously see this is a small channel and I'm just doing my best to kind of pump up the volume. So thanks for checking me out. See you in the next one.